fancy fishing or picking up marron as you would do in Western Australia. They're actually the safety people that are just making sure that if the car does actually go in. Right, I'm back again. That was a quick short break, wasn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, the Mini Cooper S has just taken off and he goes into the top part of the circuit there as he goes up into the a little bit of a kink there. Now, as you saw, he slows down. That is actually quite a dangerous kink, and the national cars will, of course, have a bit of trouble there because the speed that they'll be going will be quite quick. And here comes the Mini Cooper S. With a paralysing burst of speed, coming down to take the left-hander. This, of course, ladies and gentlemen, is a blast from the past. Mini Cooper S. Here he can probably grab the... I see. Well, he wasn't supposed to do that. He's having enough fun, so as he comes down past the photography, he just touches the handbrake, and that locks the back wheels up, so he can actually flick the back end out, and away he goes. Alan, 35 years of age, in the very nice yellow and blue Escort, about to start at the starting line. Ashley is married, 2 sons, Matthew and Thomas. I'm sure they are here urging down on to make sure that he gets through this particular demonstration stage. The co-driver is, and away goes the Escort, a great little handling car, and of course dominated rallying back in the 70s. They were a magnificent car, actually went up into the 80s, but then became uncompetitive because they were two-wheel drive, but a fantastic motor car. This one, of course, doesn't have the BA engine, it's just got a 2-litre motor in it, but the combination of the Escort, the package, the actual handling package, the way the back suspension is built, it is actually a car that is very, very hard to beat. He goes into the top end of the circuit, comes down a nice line through there. Pulls it back. Remember, this is rear-wheel drive, ladies and gentlemen, back in the old days of rallying. And here it comes, a blast from the past. The man that used to drive on these very successfully. He comes down, he's attacking this corner. A good bit of speed. Comes around and he's got through. First one. I have results here for
doesn't look like this anyway.
The result at the end of this is that what's better. You are Kangas, Spencer Lowndes in 6th, Dean Herrick in 7th, Neil Bates in 8th, Mark Petter in 9th, and Rick Bates in 10th. And I'm sure when I get the results through, Will Orders will be up there in 4th place, as long as you have to go and consider on the track at the moment. I would say would be something that had run in the Australian Safari. This is a four-wheel drive type vehicle that would be running in the Australian Safari. As he comes down, and quite a handful. Throwing caution to the wind. Neil Bates, Coral Taylor sitting alongside a team that's been together for a long, long time. And here it is. Not as much grunt as the two factory cars, but awesome, and he comes through and throws it sideways, gets it a bit up on the beckett there, into the side. He's going to come through, he's done it nicely. And said he was trying not to do that, and he is on the start line right at the moment. Yamaguchi, of course, coming out to do and campaign the Australian Rally Championship under the Rally Quip team, which is Frank Neal, of those people that remember back a few years, in fact many years to the days of the...
He's on a mission around the 4 kilometre stage. This is this super special stage.
Okay, and Yamaguchi has just gone through that tricky kink up the top end of the circuit, and of course another famous Japanese driver was Kenjiro Shinizuka, who was my teammate in the Rally Art team for a number of years. Kenjiro Shinizuka had a huge crash in the Paris-Dakar and has been left with some very bad scars, burn scars on his face. I saw a photograph of him just recently. He looks pretty bad. But here's a man that looks pretty good. Yamaguchi, son, he's wide, pulls it back, hey! Working harder than Bin Laden's travel agent as he went through there. Moves his way back up to the top end of the circuit. Yamaguchi had a bit of a moment there. I bet Phil Dodd sitting alongside would have said something, but goes up into the left-right kink. Channel 10 helicopter getting all the coverage for us here at the DeBortoli Winery, of course, coming into the right-hander and down the main straight. And I can't say what I normally say sometimes, but one of my phrases, but he's doing the JOB as he comes down and sets it up for the left-hander. Yamaguchi-san throws caution to the wind out wide. Where I
be coming out. Should be Jack Monkhouse. Jump just to start line there.
Yes, I can, but sadly,
No, Jack.
that's the problem with the cars. They're getting a little bit old. The BR4, a great motor car and a great driver, young Jack Monkhouse, all the way from South Australia, and a man that is actually on a mission, Brad Goldsborough and Dale Moscat in the Dimension 1 Rally Sport Subaru Impreza. He has been throwing caution to the wind. He is having a hard charge as he goes up to the top end of the circuit, comes across where the sausages are being sizzled at the moment, a left, right, and then into the right-hander. Now Brad Goldsborough has actually done a pretty good job. He's been looking quick, looking reasonably tidy, but has had a few moments as he comes down the main straight for the first time and comes into the right-hander. Yeah, Jack Monkhouse, what a shame. He's another young charger, a bit like Will Orders. Two of the up-and-coming guns are out, and here he comes, Brad Goldsborough doing the business, take no business, as he comes down and slides the car through. A little bit of understeer, manages to get it back, does the job. The only car so far that had a moment there has been Sue and Simon Evans, which is a real shame. He would have lost 2 or 3 seconds according to our times. And talking about times, we have Yamaguchi-san with a 3:17.6, and at the moment it's Brad Goldsborough in the Dimension 1 Rally Sport Subaru WRX STI on the track as he comes down the main straight for the last time. So he goes into the left-hander, a reasonable rate of knots as he comes down. He is going to be on the brakes a little bit earlier than most of the front-running cars. Exactly, Scandinavian flick, comes in pretty quickly and into the right-hander and up to...
Had a ride up the top end of the circuit, Moscat doing the co-driving, and the car was built by bloody He's a great goal for a Subaru WRX. And he's at home championship last year. They also did outright certainly got the base on the board, but getting that experience there.
Well, here's a man that's been improving consistently in New Zealand, Richard Mason Motorsport, one of the young stars from Kiwi land, the land of the long white cloud. Laurie Brenzel sitting alongside him. He, of course, has dropped time in the Total Oil sponsored car and has dropped back a number of positions. He would have lost a good 10 or 15, 16 minutes on running time, so he is way out of contention. But a good little punter, and with the demise or with the retirement of people like Jeff Argyle from rallying in New Zealand this year, and Herbert also has announced his retirement, this will leave young Mason with a big chance to win the New Zealand rally title as he comes down. I can see on the start line Emma Gilmore in the third of the Subaru rally cars, the Subaru team. Be interesting interesting to see if she does what on the left-hander in front of the commentary box here, but he actually leapt out to give the future wife a kiss. He's about to get engaged. So, let's see if Glenn McNeil is anywhere around the place.
That's something to expect from yourself.
Yeah, what a champion. Anyway, on the track at the moment is Emma Gilmore, of course, from New Zealand. Her father is a very successful car dealer over there, and Emma is normally co-driven by Glenn McNeil. Of course, the man sitting alongside Dean Herridge at this moment, but sitting alongside her this time is Jeff Judd, a regular competitor in New Zealand. He is the man that owns a BDA Escort, which he leases to the Dunedin Car Club for the Rally of Otago, and it's a beautiful motor car, and a man with a number of motor cars. He's got an STI as well, and he's sitting alongside throwing the shots. Right three, he says, right three, keep it tidy. And Elma Gilmore got the claw to the floor, going for more as she climbs up for one lap around, and this is her final run past us here as she goes down to the left-hander towards you, but on the top end.
After yesterday's proceedings, and Emma's second, sorry, I say second outright at the New Zealand Parker Run, and only made her debut on 18 months ago, so certainly come a long way in 18 months, hoping to beat weekend along with the Rally of Tasmania.
It certainly is an immaculate car. This is the debut event for the car. We saw it in New South Wales, but it hadn't been prepared. Ladies and gentlemen, the first time we've seen this car competing, and a brand new Evo 8 as he comes round, and a nice line through there. Paul Bray doing the JOB as he comes up, sets it through the tight right-hander here. Does a pretty good job. We've got some times here. Goldsborough, he's taken off like a rabbit out of the slot, and he's up the top end of the circuit now. If you want sideways, this will be the man. It will be the boy. He has been driving it very, very hard. Of course, it's the Menzies, and one of the Falcons is already out, which is a bit of a shame. And as he comes down, Lee, this is where it's going to happen. This is where it's going to happen on the board. He is approaching it high, warp speed, drives it sideways. Come on, and beats it. As he comes down past the commentary box, that's Ian Menzies, and he's firing. He's out in the boonies. He's out in the moonies. He's come back again. He's got a bit of Vinci quiet over the front. A couple of grapevines. But Ian Menzies, and there was no way that he was going to stop. And he has actually gone into the pit. There will be a hold. The crew is all right. I think anything that he's doing is probably a bit of pride.